Hello, this is Craig Mertens, Director of Product Education for Inktobo, and we are going to take a deep dive into GraphicsFlow. So what is GraphicsFlow? GraphicsFlow is an online graphics program. We like to refer to it as a graphics management software. And in the Inktobo ecosystem, it is the graphics part of our ecosystem. So you would see Printavo being shop management, Inksoft being e-commerce, SignTracker being shop management for sign shops, and GraphicsFlow is our graphics management platform. And it can be incorporated into all of our other platforms because in order to decorate a product or create a sign, it all starts with graphics, and that's what GraphicsFlow is all about. So quick little history about GraphicsFlow. I owned a company called Digital Art Solutions. That company was started in 1996 by my father, Steve Mertens. My sister and I bought the company in 1999 after my dad passed away. And we turned that company into what we call Digital Art Solutions. And Digital Art Solutions was a company that produced content for the decorated apparel, awards, promotional products, and sign industry. So we produced graphics, just like you see here, all these designs and all this clip art. We were the industry leader in graphics content for all of these industries. In 2019, we sold the company to Inksoft. And as a result of selling it to Inksoft, we made a decision to move the entire platform into the cloud. So back in the days of Digital Art Solutions, we started with floppy disks, then became CDs, then became DVDs, then became hard drives, then became digital downloads. And GraphicsFlow was the rebrand of Digital Art Solutions when we moved to the cloud. So instead of clients having to buy collections of artwork, they could just log into their account on a tablet, phone, Mac, or Windows, doesn't make any difference, and they could access this massive library of content. Now, something really important to point out, the GraphicsFlow content is different than just standard content that somebody would get through, like, say, a Canva or download from a desktop publishing website or just some random graphic they would find on the internet. The GraphicsFlow content is designed specifically with the kind of themes and styles and subject matter for apparel decoration and signage and awards, but it's also production ready. And what that means is if somebody is a screen printer and they needed to take this file and output color separations for screen printing, it's already prepped for that. It's got a very specific number of colors. Every graphic is prepped for screen printing. If the user had a specialized process like vinyl cutter or something of that nature, they wouldn't have to do really any extra work to get it prepared for their production process. That even includes like taking a graphic like this badminton graphic here and adopting it to be a patch on a Richardson 112 cap. So production readiness is a really important part of GraphicsFlow, and that's one of the differentiation points between GraphicsFlow and a non-industry platform. So you'll hear us talk about Inksoft being an industry-specific platform for e-commerce. You'll hear us talk about Printavo being an industry-specific job management platform for the apparel decoration industry, and GraphicsFlow is an industry-specific platform for apparel decoration, sign making, awards, and promotional products. So it's really kind of unique to the industry, and it doesn't have a direct competitor. There are some programs online like Kittl or Canva that have the similar type of capability for creating customized graphics in the cloud, but they're not really tuned to apparel decoration. And they also don't have like the art approval processes and art storage functionality that GraphicsFlow has. And they certainly don't have what's called an art portal, which is a sales enablement tool. And, I just threw a bunch of words out at you, which don't necessarily mean anything to you right now, but they're going to mean a little bit to you in a second because I'm going to show you what that means. So when the customer initially logs into GraphicsFlow, they're going to be presented with design ideas. And design ideas are interactive design templates. I could take this template right here if I wanted to. I could click on it, and I can actually edit this file in the cloud. And what's going on here is these files were all created in Adobe Illustrator and also saved in a CorelDRAW format. Unlike any other online graphics program on the platform, we're actually able to natively edit on that Illustrator file. And so we don't have to go into an external graphics program to edit. We can take an Illustrator file and edit it right in the cloud. So what that means is we have all the tools and functionality of Illustrator in terms of how Illustrator creates artwork. We can edit all those files. We don't have to be limited by a simple SVG graphics engine or something that is less powerful. And so if I want to edit this file, I don't have to go to an external graphics program. I can just click on Customize, and this BMX design is going to become a school design. So what I would do is I'd just go over here, and maybe where it says X, I'll change that to a C. And where it's over here, I'd say HS. And where it says Extreme, I'll just type in Westview. Hit Enter. Where it says BMX, I'll type in Tigers. I can change the font there too if I want to. Maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger. And don't really need the other line of text in here, so we're going to turn that off. We're going to mute that. And then I'm going to add some clip art. So this particular piece of clip art really isn't working too great for the Westview Tigers unless their mascot is the BMXers. So I'm going to go over here and click on the little button, and we're going to search the GraphicsFlow clip art for a tiger. And then what I'm going to do is select this tiger. I can resize and reposition the tiger if I want to, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start consolidating colors. And this is really important when you're a apparel decorator, especially if you're working with screen printing, because you want to get this design narrowed down to a set number of colors, because that's how you're going to print. And so I'm going to go over here and take this color right here and just globally swap that out with, let's see, we'll do like an orange right here. And then I'm going to take this other purple color and I'm going to swap that out with a navy. So we'll go over and do navy blue. And then if I choose to, I can individually edit on all these lines. So over here, I'm going to take that, I'm going to make it navy. I'm going to go over here to where it says Tigers, and I'm going to make that navy. And I've got a completely custom design. So 3 things. I didn't have to have any skills whatsoever as a graphic designer. I created a production file that I can go straight to my production process with. And the best part is anybody on your team, regardless of ability, whether they're a salesperson, whether they're somebody in the front office, even somebody in the art department, even the business owner, now has the ability to produce graphics at a super high level. And graphics that look cool on t-shirts, look cool on signs, look good on promotional products, but most of all are production ready. So at this point, what I would do is I would save the design. So I'm just going to call it Westview Tigers, save it into my GraphicsFlow account. And now it's securely stored in the cloud. So save it. And then how do I get this in front of a customer? Really simple. I add it to an art approval. So GraphicsFlow has a very sophisticated art approval functionality built right into it. I can go over here and say, create a new art approval. I'll call that Westview Concepts. Create and add files. I can download my production file now. So let's say I was going to create a mock-up in Printavo. I could download a PNG or a PDF file. Let's say I wanted to take this design and convert it into a live template in the Inksoft Designer. I can do that. I can download a PDF file, and all I need to do is replace this text with live text in Inksoft Designer, and I have an editable design template that the customer can go and use to self-service. I can also save a variation of this design. So I wanted to create a version of this design that said Eastview Bulldogs. It's super easy for me to do that, and I can even go in and localize the colors. So let's take a look at that art approval here that we created. So there's the original design, and it doesn't look really much like anything like the one we created. But that art approval is how I'm going to get this over to the customer. And so I created the art approval. Then what I can do is on this art approval, I can go in and change, like, say, the background color. Maybe I want to make this look like a gray background. We'll do that. And maybe I want to add a couple other designs that I've done for other schools or teams just to kind of show them some other capabilities. I could go over here to either my art, in which case I could grab some of my own designs. So let's see, we'll go over to Central Cougars. Let's see what we've got in there. So I've got a couple designs in there that we can add. So they can see a couple other representative examples. I can change the background colors on those too if I chose to. And also I can go in and add additional designs just from GraphicsFlow from the stock art. So I can go over here to stock art and maybe want to add a softball design in there. Type in softball. and select the design. And now the customer has access to a design right out of the GraphicsFlow stock library. So customers use this as a tool to get ideas in front of their customers. And it's a huge benefit to them, because if they're creating a quote in Printavo or a proposal in Inksoft, they have to attach that to a product, and they have to attach that to pricing. And a lot of times they're just trying to help their customer pick out some ideas before they even talk about pricing. And the advantage of that is we don't have to talk about, this person sells it for this and this person sells it for that. All we really have to do is say, hey, if you love this graphic and you like what you see, you're going to buy it from me. And so GraphicsFlow really at its core is a sales enablement tool. It does a lot of other neat things, but it truly is a sales enablement tool. So I can create little galleries of artwork that look like this for specific vertical markets. I could create a gallery that was for first responders, one that was for summer camps, one for church groups. And I could just go in and share this with customers. So I can share it with the universe. If I go over here and click on invite collaborators and I grab this sharing link, I can take this sharing link and just embed it into my website or into what we call the GraphicsFlow art portal. And anybody on the planet can go and look at it. I can add a commenting link that only people that are getting this link, only those folks can actually make a comment and provide input. Or I can do a comment and approve link, and this would be the ultimate decision maker. I would send them this link and they could see the art and approve it. And so all they'd have to do is click on the link, paste it into an email, or if they wanted to make it a little easier, they can just put the emails into this little box here and send it right through the application. So you have the kind of the best of both worlds. So once the art approval comes into the client, it's a commenting system, it's a messaging system. I'll get an email notification if there's any comment. I'll also get notified in the app. And then at this point, if they want to approve it, they can just click on approve. And if they approve all the designs on the particular art approval, then what's going to happen is they're going to get a disclaimer that they'll have to click through. And that disclaimer is going to say, hey, you have approved this design on this day at this time. I'm just letting you know that you can't take this artwork and to anybody else because this artwork was created specifically for you and you don't have the copyright. And it's just a great kind of a fail-safe for when you're working with customers that what we call have flexible business ethics. And so they're going to have to click through this disclaimer. And here's the section on copyright. And also this little section here, which can be customized by the customer, is going to say, hey, the colors on the screen probably going to look a little different than the final production. And guess what? That art approval is now stored. If they come back and say, hey, that's not what I approved, you can say, yep, here you did. You approved it on April 11th at this time. Let me send that over to you just for a quick reminder. And then also, if I want to archive this when I'm done, I can just archive it. So I don't have to keep it visible. I can just go over here and just move it into my archive. There you go. And I can go back and access the archive anytime I want. So we talked about the stock art customizer being able to edit all these designs. You can also edit the clip art. But the other part of the content is fonts. And there's a massive library of fonts that's built into GraphicsFlow. We've been producing fonts for a long time. A lot of industry standard fonts that you'll see, like athletic fonts, were Digital Art Solutions fonts. Those are available in GraphicsFlow. Many of these same fonts have been loaded into Inksoft as well as the Inksoft Designer. And right over here, you'll notice that you have a very classic athletic font called Game Day. That's the stencil version of it. But we really do a great job with fonts. And, if you're into Marvel or, comic book world and you wanted the Captain America font, there you go. There's the Captain America font right here. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy. We have all these fun, cute, scripty fonts that are very popular right now. So when the client signs on to GraphicsFlow, they can download the complete font set, the whole thing, and they can install it. And those fonts will be available on any of their graphics programs, Mac or Windows. The Inksoft platform has many of these same fonts installed. But key point, the graphics in GraphicsFlow are different than the graphics in Inksoft for a couple reasons. Number one, the Inksoft Designer doesn't have the same ability as like an Adobe Illustrator to do some of these complex effects like arching or certain times weathered overlays or patterns or masking or inline, outline, multi-layered drop shadow text effects. It doesn't have that same capability. So there is a small subset, about 350 designs from GraphicsFlow that are built into Inksoft, but other than that, they're all unique to GraphicsFlow. Other key point is you can take the graphics from GraphicsFlow and you can build them out into editable designs in Inksoft, and I'll show you how I did that in a little bit. So that's the basic part of the content. Design ideas, clip art, fonts. Every month there's new artwork. If I go over here and click on design ideas, I can narrow down the artwork by just about anything I'm looking for. So I can say, hey, you know what? I just need to find, designs that are patches because I'm going to do some cool patches for some Richardson hats. And I really only want to look at patches kind of with outdoor themes. There you go. So you got all these cool patches now. And the thing is, a design can be anything. So just like we took that BMX design and turned it into a school design, we can use these designs to create what we call corporate lifestyle branding designs. What does that mean? It means instead of having your boring corporate logo on your shirt, you can get something that looks cool. And let's see here. I think I've got a store that I built in Inksoft that gives you a great example of exactly what I'm talking about here. So let me go to my store here. So I'm just going to log into Inksoft. And I'm just in the general Inksoft demo account. I'm going to go to the store for Honor Health. And in this Honor Health store right here, I've actually created designs from GraphicsFlow. These designs are name droppable. I brought them into the Inksoft Designer and saved them as live templates. And then I linked these designs. And so if the customer wants to go in and put their department in here and get a quote and check out, they can do that so they can self-service. So this design came from GraphicsFlow. I just made the text live in Inksoft. So it's now editable. And what's cool about this, in my opinion, is that the customer gets a much more exciting experience in terms of their merchandise than boring custom logos. So what would you rather have? Something that looks like this or something that looks like this? So this is the shirt that they get assigned to them as their official uniform. Nobody's getting really excited about it. This is the shirt that they maybe go and just buy in the company store with their own money. Maybe we send a percentage of this to a charitable foundation. But this is the shirt. Not only can they wear this maybe on Fridays, but they'll also wear this on the weekend because it's a cool shirt and they just enjoy wearing it. And so that's part of the theme with GraphicsFlow is teaching our customers how to leverage graphics to get behind this boring corporate apparel. Because here's the problem. If you build your apparel decoration based on just reproducing customers' logos and putting them on products, you're a commodity. I do a lot of direct importing for my personal consumption habits from overseas using AliExpress or Alibaba. I know that I can get shirts ordered directly from China. I'll have them in less than 2 weeks. I'm going to pay a fraction of what I'm going to pay by a domestic U.S. supplier, and they're going to come in screen printed, already done for me. And so if I'm building my entire business around just producing logos, people are savvy. Younger people know that they can price shop you, they can do direct importing. And so by, really getting the customer to engage in that graphic and fall in love with the graphic, they're really only going to get that from me. And so I establish myself as a creative resource to you, not a commodity broker. If all you're doing is putting logos on stuff, they can get it from anywhere. And you're only one buyer change away. You get a new buyer, they're more sophisticated, they have a different set of vendors that they work with, or maybe they've had some experience doing direct importing, and all of a sudden you're kind of in a bad spot. So we really provide a tool that helps our clients differentiate from the competition. The other thing they're able to do with GraphicsFlow is they're able to store their artwork in GraphicsFlow. So if they have a lot of artwork and a lot of moving parts for orders, and all different people from all over the organization, need to be able to access this artwork, they can bulk upload their artwork into GraphicsFlow, and it does something that's very unique to GraphicsFlow. It can create image previews of just about any popular graphics file, including embroidery files. And your off-the-shelf graphic storage platforms like Dropbox, iCloud, Google Drive, they can't do that. They can create previews of like JPEG files and PNGs, but they can't create a detailed preview of a Adobe Illustrator file or a CorelDRAW file or a PSD file. This isn't a thumbnail. This is a full resolution preview of that file. And the customer can go in and put in specific details about the artwork, put the colors in, they can apply keyword tags. So the artwork is searchable. So if they just want to type in Central and find everything to do with Central, they can do that. So it's a wonderful way for clients to store their art. And if I want to get this in front of a customer, all I have to do is select it, add it to an art approval, boom, done. If I want to download it, I can download the original file. I can download files in bulk. It's a really wonderful, simplistic tool for organizing and storing your artwork. And it's also very complementary to producing art approvals. When you save a design in the stock customizer, those designs are going into my art. And I haven't categorized these, but these are the two designs I was working on today. And I could just select these and move them into a folder if I wanted to, or create a folder. It's up to me. Now, probably the most exciting part of GraphicsFlow is what we call Art Portal. And what Art Portal does is it allows you to provide a website that you can embed into your site or use as a standalone experience where customers can go and select art and submit them for customization. You'll notice in this particular Art Portal, I've localized some specific galleries of artwork using art approvals. So people, maybe they're into pickleball and they want to see pickleball designs. So I've built those right directly into this portal as well. And one of the neat things about the portal is if somebody's an Inksoft user, they can embed that portal into their website. So they can give the customer two experiences for picking art. The self-service where they click on a design and they make the changes themselves. Or maybe, you're a lacrosse coach and, hey, I'm not a designer. I just want to pick out a cool lacrosse design. The coach can come in here, type in lacrosse, pick out this design, select it, put some notes in. Can you change to? And all the specifics of colors and all that, they add it, and then they can check out. And when they check out, what will happen is I'll get an email. The customer will get an email saying, hey, somebody's going to follow up. And the best part is you've got a lead. You can follow up with this person now. And you didn't have that lead before. And you know what your customers have been doing? Your customers have been going to Custom Ink and Rush Order Tees, picking out graphics, maybe screen capturing them and then send them to you, and you don't own the copyrights to the images. That's a problem on its own. Or you have to completely recreate the image, which causes a lot of extra production time, which is really problematic. And let's see, I need this by Monday, right? There you go. And my salesperson I've been working with was Roberto. Over here, maybe I want to upload some source artwork files to say, hey, this is my logo. Could you swap my logo into the lacrosse design? And so once they hit submit, they get a little confirmation email, little window pops up on their computer. I get an email, it's requiring a phone number. And I got a lead to follow up, which is awesome. So where did that art request go? Went right into my account. So go down here, go down to design requests. It's just going to be waiting for me. I got a little email saying, hey, check your design request. Actually has a link to this request. I can assign this to a salesperson, put some notes in here. Here's the in-hand date, all the deets, and I want to edit this. Guess what? I don't need an artist. Just come over here, hit customize, and have at it, and do the customization right here. Production ready file. This is the power of GraphicsFlow. It's a sales enablement tool. And one of the things, I think it's kind of something that we learned early on in the GraphicsFlow is we don't market GraphicsFlow to the art department. We could care less what the art department thinks, because the art department is going to perceive this as a threat. They're not as dependent on me now that they have this tool. And the business owner loves that, because a lot of times in the art department, the tail's kind of wagging the dog, so to speak, where the artist is kind of a roadblock. Artists can be very temperamental. A lot of times there's a lot of drama and stress between the art department and the sales department or production department. And so by, offering this ability for anyone on your staff to, go out in the field on their tablet or on their laptop and create something really cool for a customer and get an order, they're enabling themselves to kind of distance themselves from the art department And by the time the art gets to the art department, guess what? It's an order. So we don't care what the art department thinks. So when we sell GraphicsFlow, we tell the business owner right up front, this is not for your art department. Does it replace your art department? No. Does it complement your art department? Yes. Is your art department smart for utilizing it? Yeah, if they want to put a smile on the boss's face. Because if you're doing a small order and you have 48 pieces and you're spending 2-3 hours producing artwork for that, you're losing money. And here's a great example of that. We work with a company. We did a profile on them, and they're called Torchies, and it's a printing company in North Carolina. Really wonderful young group of people, family business. Dad kind of started it. The son, Kobe, is running it now. And they signed up for graphics, so he was really excited about it. And I said, you guys are a big printer. Like, you're doing all the merch for the J-Lo tour. I said, I don't understand why you signed up for this. Explain it to me like this. He says, yeah, we're a pretty prominent printer in our area. So people kind of want to work with us because they know that we do work for all these big companies and, licensing and J-Lo and all this stuff. So like, hey, I want to get my school merch there. So they'll come to us, but we're not really set up for that. So if I, get an order for 72 pieces and I send it to my art department, I can't have my art department spending 3 or 4 hours on that design or a day on that design like they do with something for J-Lo. I need this to be able to bang this out. And he says, I really like these small orders because we charge a premium for it. We make really great margins on them, but we just have to have a way to get the artwork out quickly. And that's really the one of the main selling points of GraphicsFlow is you don't have to be dependent on custom art. Our customers don't really, the artwork is always a roadblock for them. And when they're selling to their customers don't appreciate what it takes to create great artwork. And as a result of that, you end up jumping through all these hoops. And every second you spend creating custom artwork for an order is a cost of doing business. It comes right out of your bottom line. And so GraphicsFlow is just this wonderful tool for helping you to sell more, reduce your art production costs, and alleviating some of that stress between the art department, creating a sales enablement tool for your front office people or your sales staff. And Art Portal is a really big part of that. So let's zip over to Inksoft real quick. And I'll show you kind of some of the fun things that you can do with GraphicsFlow as it relates to Inksoft. So we're back in that store. So we saw how this worked, and the customer can come in here and edit that. But the other thing I did for this particular store, I added a category of a couple designs in here. So these are GraphicsFlow designs. I'll show you another great example of that. We'll go over to my East Eagles store. Took that a little bit further. So in my East Eagles store, we do have an editable design here, but we created a whole slew of GraphicsFlow designs in here. And I think there's maybe 8, trying to think. Let's see here. I even did some banners in here. So yeah, there's 8 designs in here. So these are all from GraphicsFlow, and they're generally cooler than the stock designs that are in Inksoft. Also in this particular store, I created designs for banners as well. And so I have a couple banner layouts in here as well. If I wanted to create a banner, I don't think I really want to put that on a t-shirt, but you get the general idea. So being able to populate your stores with GraphicsFlow designs, being able to go into a store, and in the case of Inksoft, you guys have seen how this store looks. And there's all these great products in here that have graphics from GraphicsFlow. But I can take these same graphics and I can clone a store and just swap out the graphics and have a completely separate store with new graphics, new everything. But I can easily make adjustments to these graphics and change them from East Eagles to, guess what, Central Cougars. That's how it works. Now, in terms of like Inksoft and what we call Rapid Product Creator, the way that you would add products would be quite simple. If you're in Inksoft and you go over here to Store Products, you'd say Create New. And these are just graphics I uploaded from GraphicsFlow. That's all these are. They're just graphics I created in GraphicsFlow. I uploaded them to my Inksoft account. And we want to throw that on there. We can do that. That's how easy it is to create a product and populate it into an Inksoft store or also into an Inksoft proposal, because I could do the same thing with the proposal. I could go and create a quick little proposal in Inksoft and populate that with merch from GraphicsFlow as well. So just go over here, say create, add a product, look familiar. So it's an incredibly complementary tool for Inksoft, and it's also a wonderful tool for Printavo, because Printavo users have the same challenges, which is their customers don't value artwork. And they're also getting, in Printavo, you're also getting mock-ups in front of customers when you're doing a quote. And so in this particular quote right here, you'll notice that I have a mock-up, and where did this artwork come from? GraphicsFlow. I just used the mock-up creator in Inktober or in Printavo, and I uploaded the graphic and just popped it on there, and there you go. So it's really a wonderful set of tools to complement the rest of our tech stack. Even with Sign Tracker, people using it to create signs and banners and things of that nature. And you take a look at some of the super creative things that our customers are doing with artwork, a lot of that is being powered by GraphicsFlow. So in summary, what is GraphicsFlow? At its core, it's a content delivery system. Designs, clip art, font, production-ready design for our industry. It's an art storage tool where people can upload their own artwork, catalog it, share it with their customers, share it with their internal staff, allow anyone on the team to go in and download it, upload art in bulk, download artwork in bulk. It's also a sales enablement tool, and that's where Art Portal comes in, and that's where design requests come in. But most importantly, it's a wonderful tool to complement what we're already doing in Inksoft, Sign Tracker, as well as Printavo.